Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on an awesome 2011 pistol from Masterpiece Arms. This is the DS9 Commander. So this is the slightly smaller version, commander-sized 2011 pistol, and I believe it's kind of designed for concealed carry, if that's the direction that you would want to go with a pistol like this. Now obviously I want to address something. As you can tell, my voice is a little bit raspy, so as I'm filming this video, I'm getting over a little bit of a sinus infection, so please bear with me with my voice. I also want to say this is the first video that I'm making after my 2-week suspension from YouTube because I got a second content violation strike. And so I want to take a moment in every one of my videos to remind all of you, and this goes with all of your favorite content creators. If you're watching me on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to me on Rumble, because one day I might not be here on YouTube. And if you're following me on Rumble, please make sure that you join my Facebook group. I'm put a link to that in the description below, as well as my Instagram, and of course all my other contact information like my email address and PO box. So as I said, today we're going to be talking about this really awesome Masterpiece Arms DS9 Commander. Now I really liked shooting its bigger brother when I had the chance to shoot it, and I was really impressed because the Masterpiece Arms 2011 pistols are one of the more affordable options when it comes to pistols like this. I was very impressed with it and thought that you got a lot of value with it. So I'm hoping that this smaller brother of that bigger pistol is going to be exactly the same way. But before I talk about the things that I like and don't like, and of course get this thing to the range, as always I want to thank the people that make these videos possible. As always, I want to thank the person that owns this awesome pistol. His name is Ken. He's a local subscriber, so thank you so much, Ken, for lending this to the channel. As always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters because now more than ever, they really do help me keep this content coming through their monthly donations. So thank you, patrons. And as always, I want to thank my primary sponsor for every single one of these range reports because he provides all of the ammunition, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And I know for me, I haven't done one of these ad reads in about 2 weeks because of my suspension, so I might be a little bit rusty, but the one thing that hasn't changed is the quality of Brownworks grips. You guys hear me rant and rave about the quality of the grips that Mark over there makes. He makes a wide variety of grips for a wide variety of firearms out of a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. Anything that you can imagine, he can make. He will work with you to produce one-off custom grips with custom logos, custom engravings, custom colors, custom textures. And when you go to his website, not everything that he offers is on there. So I'm always begging you guys, please contact Mark. Tell him what you're looking for. His customer service is off the chart. And not only does he make wood grips for pistols, he also makes wood grips for guns like AR-15s. Yes, take a look at that. Wood grips for AR-15s. Man, that makes an AR look really classy, and you can have something that nobody else has at the range. And another service he offers is laser engraving magazines like PMags for the AR-15 and AK-47. So as you can see, Brownworks is a very diverse company, always coming out with new and innovative products. So I'm asking you, please go over, check out his website. If you don't find what you're looking for, make sure to contact Mark. And when you do, tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so let's talk about this awesome pistol from Masterpiece Arms, the DS9 Commander. Yeah. As I mentioned before, this is the smaller brother to the big brother DS9. I believe this is one of their newer offerings. It has a little bit shorter barrel and a little bit shorter slide, but I believe the frame and grip module are the same. Maybe it's a little bit shorter in the front, but it feels about the same length in the grip to me. And as I also mentioned, this might be a good choice for someone that likes 2011 pistols and wants to conceal carry one. And there's a couple of reasons why that is. Number one, it's a Masterpiece Arms, and I was really impressed with the quality, but number two, it's very affordable. And those are two of the things that I really like about this pistol. So let's go through everything that I like about this pistol as I have it here on the workbench. I've already mentioned it's a Masterpiece Arms. Now, I know for a lot of people that are getting into 2011 pistols or like 2011 pistols, you like the high-end stuff, the Terran Tactical, the Atlas Gunworks, the Staccatos. Well, the Masterpiece Arms many times don't cost as much as those other companies, and so you think they're not going to be as good of quality. Well, I have not found that is the case. I have been really impressed with the quality of these guns. I really feel like they really do give guns like Staccato a run for their money. Now, they might not be finished and machined as well as, let's say, a Terran Tactical, but I believe the actual mechanics and the internals of these guns is honestly just as good, and you get it for a very affordable price. So the quality and the price of this is absolutely great, and I love that about it. Another thing that they tout when it comes to the Commander is the less aggressive texture on the grip. And I do like that. Sometimes these 2011 pistols, which are designed for competition shooting, can have very aggressive textures. And I don't find them as fun to shoot. And I know for a lot of people, they want the most grippy, sandpaper-like texture as possible, where their hands bleed when they shoot it. And maybe if you're a competition shooter and you have wet or greasy hands, I'm sure it's a huge advantage. Or somebody that always shoots with gloves. But for somebody that might buy this just to take it to the range, having this less aggressive texture is really nice. But trust me, it's still pretty darn aggressive, as I'm sure you just saw. I also like the fact that this gun has great controls. They're not oversized. They are ambidextrous, well, except for the slide release, but they're not oversized. Sometimes when it comes to these 2011 pistols, they try to make the controls as obnoxiously big as possible. And once again, I understand the purpose of that for competition shooting, but I find them just to be too big. I don't like them the original 1911 sizes, but I like them to be a little bit bigger, and I really think that they got the right size on these controls. So as you can see, you have plenty of surface there to grip them. Yeah, take a look at that. That is really, really nice. Now let's take a look here at this beaver tail. Now, I don't know if Masterpiece Arms did this or this was a custom thing later that Ken had done to the gun, but he did have this pinned. So the grip safety is always depressed. So you can decide if that's something that you like or not like. He says he doesn't like those grip safeties. Personally, I kind of do because it's intrinsic to the design, but I think this is actually a cool idea for a competition pistol, especially if you might have some type of ultra grip where you're not always going to depress that. Some of these grip safeties can be a little bit finicky and not always be pushed in enough depending on how you're holding them. So to have that pinned might be a really good idea. And speaking of things not being oversized, I really like this mag well that comes on the gun. So you do have a little bit of a jet funnel here, and it allows you to easily find that mag well, but it's not oversized. Some of the other 2011 pistols that I have reviewed have these gigantic mag wells. And yeah, they're really cool, but if you're gonna carry the gun or use it in any type of practical situation, it's just too big. Here you do get a mag well, but it's not oversized and it works great. So I have to say, this once again is a feature-packed pistol at a very affordable price, or affordable when it comes to the world of 2011s. It's still a pretty expensive gun as compared to other companies, but I think for what you get a great value. And really the only thing about this gun that I don't like is the fact that the hammer on this is extremely skeletonized. So let me show you this up close. As you can see, it's milled out. I'm sure that's to make it lightweight and to kind of make it look cool. I do like skeletonized triggers, but that one is just a little bit too much for my personal taste. Now, does this affect the function? Absolutely not. It's just an aesthetic choice. I do like the color. I think it does match the style of the gun because it has that drilled out hole through it, which kind of matches the stippling on the grips. But for me, I like my hammers to be a little bit more solid looking. All right, so I have talked enough about this gun. So let's get this thing to the range and let's see how it shoots. So as always, I'm going to set the target at 7 yards. This is going to be my first magazine through this. And I just want to see how the trigger is, how the recoil is, if I have any issues with it, because Ken did say there was one possible issue with this pistol, and I want to see if it's going to manifest itself. And I'm also curious how this flat face trigger is going to work. You guys know I'm not a big fan of flat face triggers. However, in 1911s and 2011s, I do like them because that trigger comes straight back into the frame as compared to it being hinged. So let's, as I said, set up the target at 7 yards. I think I'm going to put about 20 rounds through this thing and see how it performs. And I'm really happy to report that this gun shoots great. Yeah, it shot a little bit low, but the grouping was really good. And Ken even told me that these sights might need to be adjusted a little bit. So I'll just have to compensate for that a little bit when I shoot it. The thing I'm really impressed about it with is its extremely low recoil. You know, something I've noticed with these 2011 pistols is the recoil springs don't really seem to be that stout. You can move these slides with almost no effort. And you would think because of the force of the projectile, of course, with the equal and opposite reaction, you're going to get a lot of recoil on these, but you really don't. These are really designed to manage that recoil, and I'm very impressed with it. The trigger feels good, the gun's shooting accurate. So far, I'm really impressed. All right, so let's set out the target at twice the distance. Let's see if I can compensate for as low as this thing is shooting, and let's see if I discover anything else about this pistol that I want to talk about. And it's still shooting really good groups. Now, when I was taking my time on this part of the range report, I wanted to really feel the trigger. You know, there could be a huge difference between this gun and, let's say, a Terran Tactical, which can be $5,000 more. Is the trigger really that much better on the Terran Tactical? I really don't think that it is. Now, I will say the Terran Tactical is a little bit nicer. The one thing I did notice when it comes to the reset, which, by the way, on this trigger is extremely short, and when it resets, you are already back at that wall. It just seems to have a little bit of creep or grit as you're releasing it, but it's very minute. And if you're used to shooting Glocks or other polymer framed pistols, you wouldn't even notice it at all. The only reason I bring it up is that I've had the opportunity to shoot so many other very high quality 2011 pistols. I still would make this trigger about a 9 out of 10 when it comes to a scale where maybe a Terran Tactical is a 10 out of a 10. It's still fantastic, but that's the only thing about this trigger that I can really say, just that little bit of creep or a little bit of grit on the reset. But the reset is so short, it's barely there and barely noticeable. All right, so now I want to bench rest this thing, or at least hold it up against a barrier to check for its accuracy. So I'm going to put the target out at about 20 yards and see how I can shoot it with the barrier. All right, and finally, I have documented the issue Ken warned me about. Now, he had obviously bought this, taken it to the range, and discovered that occasionally this gun will lock open with 1 round left in the magazine, and it does not matter which magazine it is. So that's kind of a weird thing. It doesn't do it with 2, 3, 4, only with 1 round in the magazine. So he's probably going to have to call Masterpiece Arms, send this thing back, and have it looked at for warranty work. Now, I will be very honest with you. I have taken this thing apart. I have field stripped it. I have cleaned it. I can't really see what the big deal is. The only thing I can imagine is that it's a follower issue. Now, when I was looking at these magazines, I did discover something very interesting about the followers. So I do have 2 magazines here. I have the extended magazine, which of course it says it has 26 rounds as its witness hole, and this one here I believe is supposed to hold 20. The one thing I did notice is the followers are different. The ones in the shorter magazines look like they are 3D printed. I think you can see all that texture there, and that is very indicative of a 3D printed polymer or plastic object. But when it comes to the follower of the extended mags, it is smooth. It looks like this is molded or injection molded. Once again, there is the one that I think is 3D printed. Now, is that causing the issue? I really don't know. Now, these are marked as MBX. Not really sure what the company that makes these are. I guess that is the company. I don't know if this is exclusive to Masterpiece Arms. So I don't really know a lot about 2011 pistols, but that's just something I noticed and is a possibility for what's causing this very weird issue. Now, as for the grouping, I still think it's pretty good, but the gun is definitely shooting a little bit low. Now, I have not adjusted the sights. I'm just trying to adjust on the range by holding it a little bit higher, but I'm still happy with the group. It just shoots a little bit low, and often when I review these guns, I don't want to mess with the sighting because the owner may have them set a very particular way, or I want them to adjust it for their own personal use. So I just have to compensate at the range for that. But so far, it's running great with the exception of that weird issue. So maybe if you have heard of this issue before, tell me in the comment section below what Kent needs to do to get this fixed, or does he need to send it back to Masterpiece Arms? All right, and as always, I want to give my wife Becky a chance to shoot this. She likes shooting all the pistols that come through the Texas Gun Vault, and she's really started to like these 2011 pistols, especially because they're so easy to rack, and that's something I talked about earlier. I know that when it comes to some female shooters, no, not all, they like semi-automatic pistols that are easy to rack. You got some great cocking serrations up here, and that slide is so easy to manipulate because the gun is manufactured and milled out so well. So she really does like that. I'm already going to tell you she's probably not going to like the grip, even though it is less textured than the other grips, because she is just very grip sensitive. So I think the issues she normally has with these guns are ones that are similar to what many female shooters are going to experience or express. So let me load up another magazine, give her a chance to shoot this, and see what her experiences are. So I know her group there is a little bit weird, but she knew the gun was shooting low, so she was kind of dialing it in as she was shooting it. She really did like it. She thought it shot really well, liked the trigger, and she even said, hey, for a flat face trigger, it's really nice, and I do agree. As I said, these 1911 or 2011 triggers come straight back into the frame, so I can handle that flat face trigger in guns like this, and she totally agreed. And she really didn't say anything about the grip texture. I still don't think she liked it. Might be a little bit too aggressive, so maybe they offer something else that's a little bit smoother, but overall, she was very, very happy with it. All right, so I have one more test that I want to do, and of course that is the quick magazine change test. Now remember, I am not a professional shooter, so if I can do this quick and easy, I know someone like you that probably trains and competes can do it even better. This is a competition gun with an awesome magwell, and these magazines fly right out of there. So I'm really hoping I can shoot this thing fast with this awesome trigger, get the magazine out, get a new one in, and get the gun back in action. So let's see how I do. And man, does this gun want to run fast. I can shoot this thing fast, and I can get that magazine in and out of this gun really quick. What a well-designed firearm. It's very natural shooting. But you also saw there, I did have one round in one of those magazines because of that weird issue. So we didn't have that on the original DS9, but we do have it in this one. So it's just something that I did want to document. It's something that I will have to deduct a few points for. So what are my final thoughts on the Masterpiece Arms DS9 Commander? Well, like its big brother, I am very impressed with it. I have already mentioned that this gun is feature-packed. It's relatively affordable as compared to some of the offerings from other companies. It's finished well, it runs great, well with the exception of that magazine issue, and I'm pretty sure it's a magazine issue and not a firearm issue, but I'll have to give you guys an update when Ken finds out from Masterpiece Arms or somebody comments in the comment section below telling me what this could possibly be. The gun does seem to be pretty accurate. I just have to adjust those sights, and I do think if carrying a 2011 is something that you want to do, the gun is pretty big, but for a Commander-sized 2011, this would be a pretty darn good option. Also, if you want to run optics, Ken has not put on any optics on it, but it is milled out so you can put optics on this, like a red dot. So I think that also gives you another awesome option on a very affordable 2011 pistol. So overall, I'm really impressed with it. The trigger is really good. It's very accurate. It only has that one issue with the last round in the magazine, which I'm sure we can fix. I really like the texture. I'm really happy with the flat face trigger. Normally, I'm not. Aesthetically, I think it's very pleasing. I like all those cocking serrations. The gun shoots very, very naturally. It shoots very fast. The magazines are easy to get in and out really quick. I really like this. And so I think with the exception of that last round magazine issue, I like this better than the DS9 full size. So I would really like to get this thing running really, really well. So on my star system, how would I rate the DS9 Commander? Well, it did have that one issue, so I'm going to give this thing 4 out of 5 stars. If it didn't have that magazine issue, it would probably be 5 out of 5 stars, but it's not running 100% correct. So I do have to deduct a few points. Now, this could be just an issue with this one example. It might not be an issue across the board. So if you own one of these and don't have that issue, please don't take it as me slamming the gun. I am really, really impressed with this thing. So thank you so much, Ken, for giving me the opportunity to shoot this awesome pistol. It is a lot of fun. And once again, I am very happy with Masterpiece Arms. And if I was going to buy a 2011 pistol, I would definitely give their product line a look. So what do you guys think? Do you guys own a Masterpiece Arms DS9, or do you own the DS9 Commander? I would love to know in the comment section below, and do your experiences with it mirror mine? So, as always, thanks for watching.